Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the second episode of Conscious Babble. And I'm out here in the park again today. It's almost 1 degree Celsius, so the wind and winter is back again at the end of March. But we are here to talk about karma today. So I have a few questions that you guys submitted. So first of all, I want to talk about what karma actually is. Last time we talked about what is spirituality. Karma, the word karma literally means work or a deed that you do. So it doesn't have a negative or a positive connotation to the term. It is a neutral term. And it essentially means maintaining the energetic balance. So there has to be energetic balance in the universe. As you know, everything is energy. We talked about it in the last video. Karma exists on the level of a family and the level of society, level of a community, level of a country, and then maybe a continent, and then also at the level of planet and the level of galaxy also. So I haven't gone that far into my spiritual exploration right now, so I can't say much about what happens at the level of galaxies, but I can surely say what happens at the level of an individual. Karma is not there to punish us, because many of us use the term karma to tell somebody that you're being punished for something that you did, right? But karma is not a punishment. So karma is a universal law that exists for everything in the universe. So just remember that karma is not against us, it is for us. So nothing in this life happens against us. Now you must ask me how, there are so many horrible things that happen to people. Well, again, it comes back to the concept of energy balance. But again, I would like to say that it is also being created right in the moment. Not the energy, but the energy imbalance or balance is being created right in this moment also. So karma is also about choices, right? What choice you make. For example, as per your karma, let's say you were supposed to be put into a situation where you had to choose. Let's say you found a wallet, okay? And now it was your karma to have come across that wallet. But what choice you make from there determines what the outcome will be, right? So you were put into the situation, but what you do with the situation is your actual karma. So the karma itself is not hurtful or even beneficial unless you act on it. So let's say you found a wallet and you decide to just take all the money from inside it, and even though you could find the IDs and the identity of the person who lost it, you decided that you will just keep the money and not return it. So there the energy imbalance was created, right? And it will perpetuate, and it will show up in other areas of your life as well. And it also is kind of a test the universe did for you, right? A small little test. We do have big tests as well. So let's say that you chose to return the wallet, and you return that wallet to that person. Now the karma is completely balanced, and in fact now you might have earned some positive karma points, in the sense that you returned the wallet to the person. They became happy and they blessed you and they prayed for you, and maybe they gave you something in return. And then that also shows that you are overcoming your lack consciousness. So if you stole the wallet, it shows that you are living in lack, and it shows your subconscious blocks. But if you chose to act differently at that time, you chose to overcome this block of yours, then that is going to show up in your reality as something positive, right? Karma shows us our deepest blocks that we have, and our deepest storage of negative energies that we have within us. And according to those negative energies, we are put into these situations, we attract these situations basically, and then how we choose to react to those situations is what comes out of those karmas, right? So I will start with the questions that you guys posted, and then I will answer everything alongside as I go, okay? And then at the end I will discuss two types of people according to how they react to karma, and then everything will be crystal clear to you. Okay, so the first question was, does karma really carry on to another life? Now, first of all, we need to understand a concept here. When you are a human, when you are on this earth, there is a sense of individualism, right? You identify as an individual, as this person. There is an ego and there is a sense of individualism. So most of the times people are attached to their identity as a human, as this human, and they are attached to their relatives, they are attached to their friends, their lovers, and they might be attached to things, and that attachment keeps us close to earth plane, which is the physical plane, and they're not able to move on, they're not able to go and dissolve into the source, right, into the collective energy. Only dissolving in that collective energy, in that ocean of energy, we lose our individualism. But as long as we stay close to the earth plane, we have our individualism, we retain it. As long as we retain that individualism, there will be karma attached to it. So we just keep taking that karma as a baggage, as a backpack, and we keep roaming around with that karma as long as we are staying on this earth plane. And there are still emotions, attachments, and longings, dreams, and soul contracts. All of these things, they are still attached to us as long as we remain on this earth plane. And when a soul doesn't have all of this, when a soul has raised their consciousness, and when it has grown as an individual and a person, as a soul, and it has raised its vibration, let's say, right? At the time of death, the soul doesn't have any kind of attachments and it is fulfilled. Then it can go and dissolve into the source, right? So why am I telling you all this? Because our job in this life is to clean our karmic baggage, make it lighter and lighter and lighter, raise our consciousness, do that slowly over many lifetimes, and then finally go and dissolve in that source. Okay, so why does karma exist? It exists for us. It is a teacher. Karma is a teacher, right? It is not a punishment. It is a very you can say it can be a rather harsh teacher, but it is for us. And everything we experience is karma. People often ask me that, this happened with me. Is this karma? I met this person. Is this karmic relationship? And my answer is that everything that happens in our life is karma. So there is nothing that is devoid of karma. And as we go in our life, we also create new karma, and we also create new timelines based on how you react to your old karma, right? So we'll talk about it later in detail. So the initial question, does karma really carry on to another life? The answer is yes, because again, if you are coming back to this earth, that means you are still somewhat attached to the earth plane when you die, right? So you are going to carry your karmic baggage there as well, and you're going to bring it back as an individual. You're going to bring it back, and we do that ourselves. So there is no third person sitting there forcing it upon us. We sit on a round table along with our spirit guides, and we decide that I want these things in my life to happen, and this is how I want to proceed. I want to learn these things, and I will be exposed to these things. And then the learning and everything, what comes out of it, it depends on how we react to it. Now I'll come to the second question, which is, what if you tried to be right on your part and but something else happens that is not right, right? So it means that you did something unintentionally, right? That's the question. So in case of karma, intentions matter. If you did something unintentionally, it's not in your karma unless you decide to. So again, it comes all back to you, how you respond to a situation. Once again, that situation was put into your life, right? Karma depends on how you react to that situation. Your higher self still knows that you didn't do it intentionally, right? So it is not going to take it further. But if as a human you keep feeling guilty over something that you didn't do intentionally, then you are anyway going to suffer, right? So it's not even your higher self making you suffer, it's you yourself, your conscious self making you suffer. So again, it is very important to understand the concept of intentions. So that is why in spirituality we always teach about self-love, self-acceptance, compassion towards yourself, right? So even if you are compassionate towards yourself, only then you can be compassionate towards others, and only then you can forgive yourself for not doing something intentionally, right? Only then you can move on. If you want to be hard on yourself, you can start feeling guilty about anything, start feeling guilty about driving a car that's polluting the environment, right? You can take on anything you want. So to suffer or not to suffer depends on you. Then if you have bad intentions, let's say that you did something intentionally, then what? Now there are two types of people. Again, one person will be who feels bad for doing something intentionally. Again, it comes back to being compassionate towards yourself, being self-aware, and then forgiving yourself, and then moving on, and maybe not doing that again, changing your habits. And then comes the second type of person who doesn't feel bad for doing something intentionally. And we are able to see many of these people in our lives, right? So if somebody did something intentionally and they're not feeling it at all, even if they went to jail, they're not feeling it at all. However, their higher self knows. Their higher self always knows what they did, right? Many people commit crimes, or they steal, or they kill because they think that nobody is watching. But you are watching, right? Your higher self knows, your subconscious mind knows what you did. And that is going to come out one way or the other. Sometimes they do realize that they did something wrong in the same life, and they repent, and then they go through this whole journey of finding themselves, rediscovering themselves, forgiving themselves. And then there are some people who never realize during their whole life, right? Then they have to go through another birth to go over all that. So yeah, as harsh as it sounds, it happens. I know this from the past life regression therapy sessions that I've done, and the ones that I've read about. All these things are very common to happen. So even if you forgot that you did something, or even if you choose to ignore that you did something bad, the energy imbalance is still there. It will get balanced one way or the other. And all of these journeys, all of these different types of people and their different types of reactions to their karma, they're all different journeys. So there is no judgment here, okay? Whatever one chooses to do, there is no judgment except in the court of law, obviously. How quickly you recognize that you did something, and how quickly you become compassionate towards yourself and others and go through the journey is what dictates how much you choose to suffer, right? So one thing I want to say is that we all have done things before. Like, I have had lives where I have killed several people, where I have beheaded several people as a king. And if you want to watch the stories of my past lives, I would recommend you to go to this video up here, where I tell you all the past lives that I remember, and how there was one past life where I have killed many people. So yeah, All of us have done certain things in life, and all of those things, they come back to us. Even the emotions, most of the times we experience the same emotions that we had in our past lives when all of these intense incidents happened. When I used to order beheading for all of those people, there was this so much anger which was imploding inside me, and it is that anger that also showed up in the present life, and I had to deal with it. Right? One example I can give is that, let's say there is a parent who wants the best for their child, right? Now their intentions might not be bad, but they might not be doing the best for their child, right? So I want to say that not everything is black and white. Not everything is good and bad. There is a lot of gray area in life and in spirituality and in case of karma, and there is no way that we can know everything, that we can understand everything. So that is why self-healing is very important. I say this all the time. Self-healing is very important, especially if somebody is responsible for another human, such as parents. When you do self-healing, you go into your subconscious mind. That is where all your karma is being stored. The karmic energy is being stored in your subconscious mind and in your energy fields. And once you start working on your energy, all these hidden karmas are going to come up, and you're going to want to have some kind of guidance and mentorship during this journey because of this, because you might not know what to do with it, right? So I don't know about you, but I have met certain people in my life who have done some things in their life that they regret, and now they are trying to do a lot of charitable work in order to compensate for that. So this happens because they know somewhere inside that they have done something that was not good, and then they have to overcompensate for that by doing things that look good in society. Now those things might not actually heal that person, but they still try to do them, because the only type of healing that we know and the only type of compensation that we know is outward, right? Doing things on the outside. That's all we always learn, and that's why they do it. Now I'll come to the third question, which is, do you believe that people can change after doing significantly bad karma? The answer is yes. Of course, they can change, and they do change, because healing starts as soon as you decide to heal. So if you decide to heal today, it starts today. If you decide to heal maybe after 10 years, yes, it can start at that time, right? The longer you keep sitting on your guilty feelings or your feelings of lack or whatever it is that you're feeling, the longer is your suffering. You can decide now, whatever is bothering you in your life, you can decide to get rid of that right now, and then the journey will start right now. So in case of big things, like when people do big things that are extremely big, like crimes, of course it's going to take long time, and people may take a whole lifetime for that. And just want you to know that we all have done things, and we all have been there, done that, and it can be different for everyone, it can look different for everyone. And the source energy that is there, it is not judgmental, and it is nothing but compassionate. And it is we humans that feel all the negative emotions, and it is we that we have the judgment and everything on this plane. The source energy never differentiates between you and somebody else. It treats everyone the same, that is with love and with compassion. All the negative emotions that you know, they only exist in this physical plane. They don't exist in the higher planes. Now I'm not talking about the planes that are immediately above and below the earth plane. In the higher consciousness, I can say maybe 6D, the individuality starts to dissolve, and that is where The negative emotions don't exist, and there is only and only love and compassion in those levels. And that is why, as humans, it is our duty, it is our work, it is our karma to work through all of our negative emotions and all of our negative experiences, to raise our consciousness, so that when we die, when we cross over, we are able to rise to that plane, right, where we don't have to come back again. Obviously, some people will take just one lifetime to do that, and some people will take more than one or even many. So yes, healing can happen the moment you decide that I am deciding to heal from this. But most people find it very difficult to start their healing journey. Why? Because they are afraid to look at their ugly parts. Now this again comes under self-healing. It comes under shadow work, right? To look at all your parts that you have ignored until now, that you didn't pay attention to. All the shadow work, your inner child, your past lives, your emotions that you have suppressed. Some people have a lot of suppressed guilt, they have a lot of suppressed anger, resentment. All of these emotions, they stay in our energetic field, and when they become hard enough, they show up in your body as illness. So it is our duty to work through all of that and raise ourselves to a higher level. The only way to heal our emotions is to face them. Okay, the only way to heal our emotions is to face them, which is what? Which is karma, right? So we need to dissolve our emotions as and when they come up and let them move through the body. So many people just live inside their heads, right? They never come out of their heads. But in order to dissolve our karma, we need to dissolve our emotions. And in order to dissolve our emotions, we need to let the emotions pass through our mind to our body. And it is important to sit with your emotions and feel them and then release them. As long as you hold on to your emotions, as long as you suppress those emotions into your subconscious mind, they're not going to be healed, right? So your job is to become lighter and lighter and lighter until life itself feels very light and easy for you, as it is feeling for me right now. So this is why I'm offering my online spiritual growth course, where I teach you all of this. I teach you about karma in detail, meditation, past life regression, energy healing, inner child healing, shadow work. So I talk about all of these topics in my online course, and it will give you a very solid understanding of how you can heal your life by working through your karma and everything. I also offer one-on-one coaching where you can work with me directly over 6 months, and I will also provide you coaching and healing support. So there are two things. We will assess and we will work on very specific things that you are going through in your life in order to heal them. So the next question is, how can we reduce the negative karma if it keeps repeating in different patterns? This is a very good question, because karma exists in patterns. So if you've ever experienced something in your life that exists in patterns, then that is like karma is literally screaming into your ears. And it is important that you listen to it, because it is exactly the thing that you need to heal in your life right now. So karma always exists in patterns, and it is because there are certain soul contracts that we have made for ourselves and with others, and those soul contracts have been made in order to help us raise our consciousness. And in older times, people knew that they have to meditate, that they have to have a guru, right? They used to go to a gurukul, and they knew that they have to progress spiritually. In India especially, people used to always practice yoga. So yoga is basically, all-inclusive teaching that helps you raise your consciousness in every possible way, right? Emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, right? So yoga involves everything that you need to do in order to raise your consciousness. So in older times, people knew that they had to do this, right? It is only now that we have moved away from all of this. Now our societal constructs the society that we live in has become more physical than mental and spiritual, and there is lack of awareness, right? So lack of self-awareness, and we always look for physical confirmation of things. We always look for the evidence outside. That is why all these patterns start emerging. So I will give you a few examples of patterns emerging. Let's say there's a guy who had trauma in his childhood. Let's say his mom was abusive and his mom used to scold him a lot, and she used to betray him. She made promises that she never fulfilled, and when he grows up, he just knows that kind of love, right? He thinks subconsciously that this is how love is supposed to be, right? So he ends up choosing the same women out of the pool of the women that are available to him. He ends up choosing only those women because that is the only kind of love he knows, right? So then all the women he is with are all abusive and they all betray him over and over and over, and he ends up making a belief. Now there are two types of people there as well. The first person will make a belief that all women are like that, all women are, you can say, heartbreakers or something like that, right? And he carries that belief with him, and because of that belief, he is once again always attracting women who are abusive and who betray him, right? And the second man number 2, he becomes a little bit self-conscious. He says that, oh, this is a pattern that is existing in my life. I am always meeting these abusive women. What should I do? Now, I don't have knowledge about all of this, so let me go to a therapist, right? He finds a therapist and go to the therapist. They work on their inner child. He comes to know all of this, why all of this is happening, and then he ends up healing and then finally finding the love that he always needed, right? Or he goes to a spiritual coach or a healer, Reiki therapist or something like that, and then works out through his childhood trauma from there, right? So it depends again how you respond to the karma. His karma was that his mom had to be like this, and his subconscious mind had to become like this. But how does he react? Does he make a new limiting belief out of that, or does he go deep into his subconscious and then tries to heal that, right? So the main thing is that we have to become self-aware. In order to become self-aware, we will need to go inwards, not outwards. So how do we go inwards? We go inwards by meditating, right? So everybody always says meditate, 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 but people just have started brushing it away as if it doesn't work. Meditation is all that works. Now, once again, if you take up meditation, you need to follow someone, you need to hire a teacher, you need to read some books, because again, meditation is a very, very wide topic. There are hundreds of different types of meditations that you can do and that you should do as per your personality, as per your liking, as per the makeup of your mind. So it is important to always seek help when it comes to your healing. You can only go so far alone. You will always need a coach or a mentor or a therapist or someone to guide you, to tell you that all of these possibilities are available to you and to point you to the right direction, because sometimes things might be causing damage to you and you won't even know. And there are other examples of patterns also, karmic patterns existing. So karmic patterns can exist in your relationships, it can exist in your career, jobs, in the houses that you find, it can exist in your friends. So I have even seen karmic patterns in the way that people shop. So the patterns, they can exist as something that happens to you, or they can also exist as an emotion. Let's say that you receive disappointment from all of your relationships, right? So the karmic pattern here is disappointment. Or you receive betrayal from all your relationships. your betrayal from your parents, from your lovers, from your boss, from your co-workers. So the theme is betrayal, right? Like that, it could be failure at just the end point, right? Some people, they work so hard, and then when they reach just the last stage, the last bit, at that time they fail. So it can become a pattern in their life. So again, it could be an incident that happens to you over and over and over, or karmic pattern could be a feeling that comes to you over and over and over in different areas of your life. So these were all the questions that I had for today, and now I want to talk to you about two types of people based on how they react to karma, and this will make everything clear to you. Okay, so listen till the end. So let's say there are two people, Susan and Bob. Okay, Susan is reactive and Bob is conscious. Okay, so Susan always and always, she has learned to react to things, but Bob has learned to stop and think and react, but consciously. So let's say Susan has a fight with her husband, and the only thing she has learned is to react. So she reacts to him in a very negative way. He's angry at her, she is angry at him, and they end up having a very bad fight. And this continues on and on and on until their relationship doesn't feel happy anymore, right? So there is Bob. Bob is a little bit conscious, he has learned to think and stop and then react. So he has a fight with his wife, and because he is a conscious person, he doesn't react immediately. He stops for a moment and he thinks. He tries to talk to her. He asks her, what is wrong? Why are you angry? Tell me. We will figure it out together. And then his wife calms down a little bit and tells him why she is angry, right? So he is actually talking to her, not just reacting to her, right? That's the difference. Because they work on their problems together, they don't react to each other, they consciously talk to each other, they are able to rectify whatever the problems were, and they are experiencing happiness and fulfillment in their relationship. So we can take this example and apply it to any situation in our life, not just relationships. Let's say that an accident happened, a small accident happened, okay? And Susan, because she is reactive, she reacted to that accident as if something big happened. She's devastated. She comes home, she's all angry, she's like, this is the worst day in my life, and she's throwing things around, and she's spoiling the mood of her family members also, and she is just very, very in a very low vibration. And then she attracts 2 or 3 more things that happen during her day which are low vibrational, and she ends up in a very bad mood, and then she starts having sleep problems, and it just spirals down, right? Then there is Bob. He also has an accident, but he is a conscious person, so he stops a bit and he says, well, all that matters is no one was hurt, cars can be replaced, things can be replaced, that's okay. And he goes back home and tells his wife, this happened, but I got saved, thank God. And they just have dinner, and they just go to sleep happily. You can just keep on applying the same principles to each and everything in your life. Now, I'm not talking about thinking positive. Thinking positive is something different. I'm talking about how you react to everything that happens in your life. Now, you can take this example and apply it to a specific situation that is happening right now in your life. Imagine if you were a reactive person, how would you have reacted to that situation? Imagine that you are a conscious person, and now how you are going to react to that situation. And comment below if this video helped you in having a better understanding about what karma actually is, why it exists, and how we need to work with it and not oppose it or fight it. So just let me know in the comments. I'll be very happy to know. And this is the end of episode 2. I will come back with another topic in episode 3. I still have to think about what topic I should pick up next. If you want, you can put your suggestions into the comment box, and I will take them into consideration. And as always, my dear divine beings, Bye. See you next time.